My name is Tejasvi. I am a horror author. So, looking forward to seeing your work in progress, at least. The question that I have is about adapting a book to screen. Um, when you write a book versus when you write a screenplay, how much of your writing in book are you able to reuse when you write the screenplay, or is it written from scratch?
So basically, I think we'll have to go, sort of book by book. For instance, when I adapted the memoir to a screenplay, that was only from one person's point of view, only from the daughter's point of view. I expanded it and imagined the mother and grandmother's point of view because I thought that would be exciting to do. For my own book, Across the Line, which I have adapted for a screenplay, again, because it's young adult, I've made them older, I've raised the stakes, I've done all the things and also, sort of, you have to think about budgets and things like that. So I have restricted it in certain ways, and I have raised the stakes in other ways. So you have to think about cinematic appeal. And definitely, you have to have a lot of other factors in mind. So I think we would have to go, sort of book by book. But I feel that if you can come at it from a totally different approach and point of view, it's more interesting.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Nayanika. This is Rochelle. Nice to meet you again.
Hi, Rochelle.
So I had a craft question on the screenwriting. So how do you know? I'm hearing a lot these days about a scene landing or not landing. So how do you test whether a scene lands? Because we have beginning, middle, end in any case. So, and it's not like cooking that you can taste it, or can you taste it and say, okay, this has landed. So what is landing really? Or is it the editing that lands the scene? How do you test it?
I think I just test it. I don't know if others want to pitch in here, but I think when you've written something good, it may not happen very often, but when you've written something good, you know it. I don't know if you agree, but when you've written something good, there is just something, and sometimes I get up, especially when I'm in the middle of writing a script. I think my best ideas come to me when I'm 4:35 in the morning. And I will wake up and I will write it down because I know I have held on to something. There is this talk, please watch it, I think she'll answer it better than me, by the author who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, Elizabeth Gilbert. She talks about scene landing, exactly this. She says there are these moments, we think we are writing.
You write the first scene, you write the next scene, you keep writing your scenes. I don't go by jargon of landing, not landing, payoff, not landing. वापस पढ़ो, वो सीन निकाला, कुछ मिस हुआ तो सीन की ज़रूरत है, कुछ मिस नहीं हुआ तो कुछ नहीं. You have to be cruel, you have to be brutal.
When I was young,
Younger.
Now
I'm feeling like a total dinosaur.
No, when I was like 5 or 6, there were children's books in India. We usually grew up reading Enid Blyton and mostly white people books, maybe except for Ruskin Bond. But today my kids, they have this. I'm really jealous, including your books, Anand Neelakantan, and then there's Trishala Jain. Even board books, there are books like J for Jalebi, and there's very culturally, we've come a long way in books. But when it comes to movies, Hollywood's making really super hit movies like Hunger Games and, even the Harry Potter series, or there's a lot of content for young adults and children to consume. Do you think we're headed anywhere close in India? Because we're only obsessed about thrillers and crime and mysteries, but I think there's a whole unexplored market. Is it intentional, or is there something that I don't know about here as a noob? Or is it I think
I completely echo what you're thinking. And yesterday, in fact, we've had some very exciting conversations about some of the books that I had written for my own daughters, and I never intended it to be published, but it did get published, making them into films. And Bhargav actually has helped introduce me to certain people who might be doing that. So I absolutely think there's a dearth of good content for young people, for children especially. And it's so important because you mold those minds, you've got a viewer for life.
Yes.
And if you're bringing them up only on Chota Bheem, then that's not okay.
So true. Worst nightmare of every new parent, I guess. So yeah.
Also to add, I think this is an incredible initiative of books to box office. So, if you're missing on any content, you must write that so that next time it becomes a movie.
Yeah. I
Yes.
Yeah.